a room. And so then the packages kept coming, but they weren't stuff that she ordered. And it would be like random stuff, like a doggy bed, men's XL t-shirts, humidifier. And they kept coming for like a good, like, I would say like a period of like 6 months.
Wow.
And no idea where they were coming from. And I was like, and me and mom were like, that gotta be like a good idea for a story. And then I just started kind of building on that, like, ooh, what would be in the boxes and what would prompt this kind of thing? And how would you react? I mean, we can't stop these boxes from coming. How would you stop some boxes from coming that were just coming to your house? And how would you get rid of them? And it became like that kind of thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to write about this. And then like a lot of it's changed, like from like the first draft, of course, you know, like from the first draft to where it is now, so many things have changed about it. But I am excited. I'm currently working on the feature version of it because I think it'll delve into a lot of things more, but I want to explore familial relationships mainly. And then also this idea of consumerism and, you know, how even myself during the pandemic, and I'm sure a lot of people, the most excitement I got is when I ordered something that I knew I ordered and that it came in the mail, and just how happy you are to kind of have things that you really don't need. And it was like, it was already a problem. And when I lived in LA and like my apartment, but it was an even bigger problem when it's like your home address, you know, like your mom's address. So it's like stuff, you know, it's not going to get stolen.
Right.
And then just stuff can come in even more frequently. And I was just, And then as I started thinking about those two things, I was like, oh, I can put together a good story here. And then, you know, the other stuff came, like the influencer aspect came. Actually, after I sent a draft of it to my friend and her husband, she's an actress and he's a DP. And I originally had the main character, Joy, as an author. And they were like, you should make him an influencer. And I was just like, actually, that's a really good idea. The Pell package thing and the PR package thing, I can make it tie into the story really nice. And that's another layer of, you know, something to say without me trying to say something. It just became that. But it's nothing to shame anybody. I think more so it's about familiar relationships and how if somebody's on one trajectory, then it could cause friction with another person that you used to be close to, specifically with like somebody like a sister or a cousin or a brother. And it's just exploring that, because I feel like that's the relationship that has most changed personally for me from when I was younger to now. It's just how different, you know, family is when you get into adulthood and you're not around these people every day. How much the dynamics change and how kind of sad that is. So I wanted to really kind of dig into that and, you know,
I'm excited.
Found some things.
No, it's great. And I mean, you know, for those who don't know, I'm actually a part of the project.
Full disclosure. Full disclosure.
No
bias here.
Oh man, no, thank you so much for having me on it. I'm so excited. Like, I think I told you before, I was like, I've never worked with a female director, so I'm like stoked. I mean, you work with me, like, and no bias to men. I love men. God bless you guys. But starring a woman character versus it coming from a man's perspective, I'm sure it's great, but it's just not the same. Like, women just have a different way of telling stories. I don't know. Do you feel that way about it?
I definitely agree. I definitely feel like when it comes to certain like actions that certain female characters take, sometimes you can kind of tell when it's just like, oh, that kind of doesn't, you know, it doesn't really mesh with how it really is, but this is their story, you know what I mean? So let them have that. But I definitely hear where you're coming from. It's different. But all kudos to men. I got a lot of male producers. We love y'all. A man, you know, a producer who happens to be male introduced us. And actually mentioned you. So
thank you.
Yeah, that's how we got introduced. J. Scott Goldberg, shout out.
Thank you, Jay.
But so all the producers too. Terrence Kelsey, Jason Hampton, Ivatrice Littles, all you guys, what's up? Darren Scott.
Hey.
You know what I mean? Shout out to you guys. But yeah, we love guys here. We love guys.
Yes, absolutely love guys. But yeah, women in film.
Women's History Month.
Drop the mic. Let's get to the smoke. I like to like bring a little bit of smoke up in my questions.
Oh, hey.
Okay. Obviously you've heard, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard about The Little Mermaid. You know, it's starring, I think is it
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey. Mm-hmm. Yes. Amazing singer. I personally, when I heard about it, I was like, yes, she's perfect for the role because her voice is just.
Yes. She sounds like a Disney princess.
Yes.
And she literally like talks, not even just musically sonically, like her voice and her demeanor.
Yes.
Definitely gives like otherworldly kind of. She looks like she looks like a fairy. She looks mythical to me.
Yes.
And she sounds mythical to me. So I was like, she's perfect.
She's perfect. Exactly. So, of course, there's this thing, everyone's like, oh, well, the original Ariel was white. And I'm like, well, it's a cartoon, right? Now this is a live action, which is completely different. Do you feel like, and I personally feel like it's great that we see, diversity and changing, that Disney's trying to make some changes. But I like that it's not because she's just Black. I don't think it was about that. I think she's just right for the part, which I personally am like, thank God that's what it's about. It's not about because it's like a woke message. Like,
yeah, I think, that's become kind of like I don't know. It's kind of becoming like this, I hate to use this term, but like trigger word for, people that have a certain agenda or point they want to get across. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what they think they're losing. But it's one film. I feel like the story in the tradition of storytelling, it's going to get retold plenty of times, probably different other actresses of different races. And I'm also thinking, did we all forget about Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with Brandy? Like, right. I don't understand the controversy.
I really don't. It. Thank you. It's like, when I heard him, like, well, we've done this before.
Yes. We've definitely done this dance.
Right?
We've definitely done this dance.
I don't know.
They act like this is the last time you ever gonna see an Ariel on screen. It's just like, okay, yeah, you've had a white one. We got a Black one. Next thing you know, we gonna have an Asian one.
Yeah.
A Latina one. Like this is gonna happen. One time, maybe the Little Mermaid's gonna be a male. You know what I mean? You never know. Like, that's why what's so great about storytelling and retelling stories. Which, yes. People tend to get upset about, but there's nothing wrong with revisualizing. That's the tradition of storytelling. So
exactly,
I'm all for Halle. I think I'm so excited for it.
I'm stoked. It's gonna be so great. Which leads to my next question: Who Disney villain? Who's your favorite Disney villain and why?
Oh, hands down, Scar.
Oh, interesting.
I love Scar.
Ah, nice. Mine's Maleficent.
Oh, I do love Maleficent. I do. Both in the original Sleeping Beauty and then in Angelina Jolie's portrayal of Maleficent. It's glorious.
It's so glorious. So glorious. Yes. So, in the spirit of, like you said, remakes and making films and retelling stories, is there a film that you've seen, whether it's an old film or new film, that, just had a one-off and you wouldn't mind seeing them make it again, like now?
Oh, you mean like a Disney movie or in general?
Or just in general, just anything.
Oh, I did mention this before, but Death Becomes Her. I would love to see a modern version of that with the technology we have now, and with women writers. I think even the original was banging, but I feel like now we, with more female filmmakers, there's a chance to kind of make it a little bit more of a robust story.
Oh yeah.
And exploring why these women, I love that idea of just looking at the relationship of like two women, female friends, or, like that. Those are the relationships I love seeing explored on screen.
Yes.
So yes.
Me too. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to get in the industry, or whether it be a filmmaker, actor, whatever? What does that look like?
Or just pursuing this in general?
Yeah, pursuing it. Yeah.
I would say don't think about it as an industry. Just think of it, your journey is your journey. You do what you want to do. If you want to make film, you make film. If you want to act, go act. I do think that if you want to get into like, Hollywood per se, which I don't know, I'm not in Hollywood yet. I mean, I've yet to find out. But I do think that if you go into it, you want to think of it like any other industry, like any other job you've had. You got to understand that there's a base to it and a system to it that's already there in place, and recognize that you might not always look like the people within that system, but think of it like any other job, any other workplace. So I feel like we tend to, because of the content they spit out, we tend to kind of like have higher expectations, or kind of make it seem more grand, or like, oh, you should be held to this standard because you show this or you present this. But you think about any other company. I mean, I used to work for Frito-Lay as district manager. It's like, oh, when we sold our health chips, that was us trying to, you know what I mean? And we'd say there's all this lip service in companies. If you worked in any company where they say, oh, we're all about health, we're all about this, we're all about that, but you kind of sell something different. And then the cultures could be kind of different depending on which building you're in. Like it's kind of, I hear about that in fitness too. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's all these industries that they kind of operate the same way. It is a business, but if you have your own set of goals and know what you're coming in there to do, then all the other stuff, of course, it's gonna, it'll piss you off sometimes. It'll make you uncomfortable, but all that stuff shouldn't get in the way of what you really want to do. So if you can't feel like you want to operate in that system, and you can, go for it. If you feel like you can't anymore, you have a choice. You don't have to do that either. You can go make it on your own. So I think a lot of people are opting to make it on their own, which is fun.
I love that. There's
a space for it now. You know what I mean? All these streaming sites, there's a place for it.
It's so great. We live in such a great time now that we can, like you said, make a film and put it out on all these different sites. It's not just has to be, in the theater. You have like everything's online now, so you can sell it. It's a beautiful time. This is a fun question I like to ask, and I promise it's my last one. Loyalty or respect? Which one would you choose, and why? Which one do you prefer?
Respect.
I like that.
I hate
That's
to say
a good
it.
answer. That's a good answer.
Respect.
Definitely.
You can get a lot of loyal people if they respect you. Loyalty sometimes doesn't come with respect. Loyalty comes with, hey, I know how you're going to act, so I know I can act this way, even though I wouldn't do that with somebody else. So just because they're there doesn't necessarily, I don't know. I have different feelings on loyalty. I don't think it's like the be all end all. I think respect is higher on my list.
I like that. That's a great answer. Where can people find you on social media and follow you and all the great things that you have coming?
Social. Okay. On my Instagram, KK Flips the Script. On Facebook, Kirstie Keeton, because that's the name I grew up with. My government name's Kirsten. Trying to, my adult life, but all my friends know Kirstie, Kirstie, like Kirstie Alley, rest in peace, Keeton. YouTube, KK Flips the Script. But anywhere else, Kirsten Keeton.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on and blessing us with your beautiful energy, and I'm just so happy that you came on to talk to us.
No, thanks for having me. I honestly it's really hard to kind of navigate and figure out I don't know, kind of like when being in film, and actually even being an adult in general, and trying to meet new people and meet new friends. I know it's just awkward. And so to meet somebody who's like you, just so open and so kind and so considerate and interesting, it's a rare find. So I am so happy and honored that you even invited me. This whole experience has just been me meeting a lot of like-minded people who are just really genuinely in love with the craft and are so open and open-minded. And I just, it's refreshing and I love it. So thank you so much.
Ditto. And Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for listening. And always remember,